which is all cool on that. But as a competitive player, I don't really care about it. What I do care about is the changes they implemented. So let's quickly go on to the general changes. So first of all sandbags have received an increase in target size to make them easier to hit. So target size from 1 to 20, and I think that's a brilliant change, especially with the amount of sandbag spam that you see in the game. It's great that we can finally kill them reliably with the T-guns, instead of just praying to RNGs hoping that you would actually hit him. So great change over there. Loiter ability, so Stuka Close Air Support, Sector Assault, Hawker Typhoon Attack and P-47 Rocket Strafe have all been delayed. So you actually, if you react in time, you now actually have a chance to get out of range of the fire. So I think that's a good change as well. Let's see if they're still useful. Maybe they're kind of useless now, but if you push deep and you pin it at the enemy base or something, yeah, I think it's good way to still deny some area. Okay, medium mobile mortars. The following change will allow veteran mortars to launch smoke rounds from further away, reducing the requirement for them to redeploy for smoke screens. Veteran C2 now also increases smoke range by 20 in addition to other bonuses. The mortars have an increased smoke range, which is a good way to deal with HMGs a little bit. So it's a slight HMG nerf, not that much of a mortar buff, but more you need to see it more like an MG nerf. Now, MG formation. So this was a pretty big topic. So back in the day, the MG formation would get cycle killed. So the gunner would be in front. You would move your infantry blob in there, and it would just cycle kill the gunner and kill the MG by doing that. So what they did was they moved 2 models forward of the MG, but now the MG is way too strong. It's very hard to kill because it already has extra sight by the models moving forward, and the models at the front will get shot first before you can actually shoot at the MG. So to fix this, they moved the 2 models that were standing in front of the MG backwards again, which is reduced sight, and it also increases the crew's vulnerability to area of effect fire, so grenades will do more damage because all the models are just closer together. Now snipers have been quite strong, very hard to kill. They go quite fast, they still move at a decent speed. So now to nerf the snipers, they have done minus 25% speed penalty when they fire for 2.5 seconds. So if you fire, you need to instantly move your sniper backwards because it's going to be super slow for 2.5 seconds. So if you get an infantry unit on top of a sniper, it's probably just going to be fucked. Yeah, so interesting to see whether getting the sniper is still worth it. Ultralight vehicles now have access to force reload ability. That's just a little bit of quality of life. Tiger and King Tiger Spirit following has been added to give players an indicator that it has activated the Spearhead ability. So given an icon overhead, so that's also just a quality of life change. If it looks good, that's very nice to have. I hope it's better than the sweeper icon on the Stern Pioneer, because that's just confusing. Bofors has been made cheaper in population, so let's go Bofors spam. Side tech has been made cheaper. That's alright. You don't see it too often. It's not that big of a deal. Assault and Tactical sections reinforced time from 76.2. This makes them quite a bit more viable if you can get them on the field faster again. There's quite a couple of cheese strategies you can do with tank hunter section, so I'm definitely gonna be looking into that. I'm gonna try some of those strategies. Now the assault officer has received a number of changes to improve the support role. These new abilities will give the British faction a unit that can disrupt the enemy through the use of smoke and artillery, forcing team weapons to move or covering and assault into enemy lines. So one step is they have been made cheaper. They get a coordinated barrage variant. I'm curious to see how strong that is. Might just be too strong, but it shares Golden with all other 25 pound ability, so I think that's at least good. Off-map smoke barrage. Alright, and can be upgraded with a single Vickers K machine gun. Requires weapon racks, 60 munitions. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a very useful unit still, but well, I gotta use it. It's fine to find out. So Churchill Avery projectile speed is down. So this is a nerf. So the shooting is a little bit lower. Ready aim time is a little bit faster, so that's a little buff. Armor goes down. I think that's good. Fuel has been increased, and also the weapon has been adjusted to reduce the projectile under or overshooting targets. That's something that AVRE did a lot, that like undershot, and you wouldn't exactly hit it where you were aiming it for. But yeah, it's got an increase in price, just as probably the Storm Tiger has also been increased in price. So Churchill, small pop grab decrease, that's fine. Would love to see more Churchill gameplay. I think it's a really cool tank, but it's just so expensive and just kind of doesn't do enough to really be useful compared to like the Comet. Forward observation post, recon air support ability no longer requires hammer or anvil. Artillery cover and strafing when air support now only require a company command post rather than hammer and anvil. Strafing or an air support delay from 1 to 4. So yeah, so easier to use basically. Another small manpower buff for Brits. And then infantry sections also increased or decreased reinforced time, so they get them back on the field quicker. And then the Pyrotechnics section has been improved, so they get a smoke barrage with 45 range, which shares a cooldown with all the other smoke barrages. 25 munitions, so that's nice. And I like this one a lot. Stealth detection rates increase from 10 to 25 when upgraded with Pyrotechnics. So this is especially useful against like Austere, when you have camo units, when you have to fight a sniper, when you have to fight Jaegers or something. Just upgrade one of your infantry sections with Pyrotechnics, and you get that bit of a stealth detection range. Veterancy of Royal Engineers has been touched. I think there was a bit of a mistake here, so basically a small buff for Royal Engineers. Firefly, population decrease. Universal Carrier. So the Vickers K machine gun now is a plus 15% bonus against snipers. I already thought the UC was doing enough damage versus snipers, so for me this is kind of a redundant change. I am looking forward to this target size from 15 to 16. It's going to be difficult to say how good of it a change this is, but what you would often see is that your if you, for instance, as OKW, you can get your Kaiten out and you get that killing shot, but it often misses. And I hope this just tips the RNG favor a little bit more for the AT against to actually hit it. So I hope this one target size change is enough to do that. Vickers heavy machine gun, so this is in line with all the MG nerfs, so population increase. Weapon racks is also down in manpower. So a whole bunch of manpower buffs across the line for Brits, and some buffs in terms of infantry section reinforced time, and the infantry section Pyrotechnics gotten a lot more use. So I like the changes overall in there. Just gotta see if they're not too strong with all the manpower buffs now. Assault artillery costs from 200 to 225. This brings it in line with all the other artillery like it. Once again, the MG nerf. Storm Pioneers are getting veterancy 2 received accuracy bonus increase, so they die a little bit less, which is nice. And they reverted the addition of the sweeper shield symbol. So that's a symbol that's like very confusing. Like for Storm Pioneers, the only unit that can put their sweeper away. So you would have 2 sweeper icons if you would have the sweeper active, and 1 if you didn't have it active but you did have it upgraded, which is just very confusing. And you would often just retreat them without the sweeper out, and you're like, hey, I had a sweeper on it, then they just die. So I think this is a very good change as well. Now the Storm Tiger, this has been the bane of the battlefield for the last couple of months. So they had to change it. They definitely had to change it. So let's read the changes. So the range has been decreased, which is good. It could shoot into the fog of war. That's not something you want. You don't want it to be able to shoot into the fog of war. It came out at 8 CPs, which is pretty damn fast. Now at 10, which is a good change. 165 fuel probably was a little bit too cheap. You made it 185. Also a good change. The They increased its veterancy requirements, it seems, as well. By quite a bit, actually. That's a pretty big veterancy requirements change. Alright. Veterancy 4 plus 10 side has been removed. What do they get a veterancy 4 then? They probably still get something else. Can no longer use crude repair when reloading. This is also a very good change, which means if you can get a couple shots in, they first need to reload and then need to repair, or they need to reload and repair with the Storm Pioneer, which just increases the downtime. So in the gameplay right now, you would have like 45 to 60 seconds, and then the Storm Tiger would shoot already at you. So you might just lose like a 1/4 minute. But this will increase the downtime of the Storm Tiger by quite a bit. That's very important here. Austere. Ambush Camouflage, probably one of the stronger things on Austere, because it had that plus 50% accuracy bonus when shooting out of Camouflage for, I think it was 5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So they did reduce the ambush bonus by 50%, so from 50 to 25, which is very good. Assault Grenadiers. So in the last patch, they removed the sprint from Assault Grenadiers and put it behind Battle Phase 1, and then no one actually played Assault Grenadiers anymore. So now they're reverting that change, so you can sprint with your Assault Grenadiers anymore, but it costs 20 munitions to do it, and when you get Battle Phase 1, it only costs 10 munitions. So I think this is a good way to nerf it. So you can do it, but it comes at a hefty munition price at the start of the game. Now the 5-man Grenadiers are being buffed a little bit by buffing the STG. So the STG 44 near burst goes from 1.25 to 1.5, and near accuracy from 0.55 to 0.575. I don't know how meaningful these changes are. It is just small numbers, but basically means they're going to get a little bit more power at the close range, which will be fun to look at and try out. So the Jaeger Infantry Commander is going to get nerfed. So this commander basically had everything. It had ambush, it had a good infantry unit, it has the light artillery barrage, and it had a strafe for the late game. No, it had a loiter for the late game, so the loiter now is going to get replaced with a strafe, just to nerf the commander a little bit. Also here, HMGs to 7 pop, and the nerf to the ostruppen. After a whole bunch of nerfs and buffs and buffs and nerfs, they decide to nerf it here once again, because they're still super strong. So veterancy 1 accuracy bonus when in cover is removed. The standard accuracy bonus in cover is downgraded from 250 to 200, and the MG42 LMG upgrade comes from 45 munitions up to 60 munitions. So probably quite a couple hefty changes, which makes them less powerful. Probably still usable, but a lot less powerful. Now, also another unit that has been dominating, especially the 2v2 scene lately, and you also see it a lot in 4v4s as well, the 120mm mortar. So the auto attack range is going to get down from 100 to 80, and the formation, so it has like 5 models, the formation is getting tightened, which means it's more vulnerable to indirect fire itself, or when you get on top of it you can throw grenades and actually wipe that stuff. Because often when you will try to hit up with a Stuka, like, they will still just get away with 1 or 2 men. They would always just get away with 1 or 2 men. And this means you can actually kill the model, wipe the veterancy, maybe even kill the piece itself. I think this is a very good change, because it's super strong, you know. If it hits a unit, it means you need to retreat that unit. If it hits that unit again, that means your entire unit is dead. So I like the fact that they increased the vulnerability. Maybe personally I would have seen a damage nerf rather than these changes, but it's something, it's good. So I like it. Now they've changed a little bit about the P4 howitzer, a little bit of a nerf, so longer recharge, suppression radius is down. Dushka machine gun, just along with the MG nerfs as well. The SU-76 now has decent moving accuracy from 0.5 to 0.75. This might make it a fun unit to whop out once in a while. Major veterans round also provides plus 15 side. So actually worth to keep it on the field just as a spotting unit alone. Pershing armor gets another increase. So they already increased the Pershing by making it easier to repair. Now it gets an increase in armor from 270 to 290. The M8A1 is getting a couple boosts for each barrage. So barrage HOE rate is from 4 to 5, barrage HOE fireblade from 0.2 to 0.3. So this is going to be particularly useful versus backguns. Damage modifier against garrisons. Oh, it's also going to be very good versus garrisons. Yeah, so I think probably a good change. Make the squad a little bit more viable to like fire with backguns at the distance. The barrage range is unchanged. Yeah, but it has a good barrage range. MGs are standardized, and then we got a whole bunch of back fixes. So yeah, I think this will probably be a pretty decent patch. Things I miss is Commando, Camouflage, Nerf probably should have happened, but also would have seen. That's probably something I missed. Commando, Camouflage, Nerf. I hope that you see Nerf is enough. One thing I also miss is a nerf on the PTOSs. PTOSs have 45 range or something, which is ridiculous for an AT thing. So yeah. But all in all, fun change, and I'm quickly going to get into playing some of matches.